get to Caitlin Clark fans and the nuclear backlash that A'ja Wilson is getting right now over the the reveal of her Nike.
A'ja Wilson just got a harsh reality check this week, and I'm telling you it's going to resound through her entire career. For 2 solid years, Wilson had been relentlessly taking aim at Caitlin Clark, the player she honestly believed she owned the entire league over. But Team US, they just gave the ultimate, most emphatic slap in the face. They didn't simply sideline Wilson, they openly threw her straight off the selection roster. And to add insult to injury, they formally, unequivocally handed Clark a starting berth in the senior national pool for both the massive 2026 World Cup and the highly anticipated 20. We've got the full unvarnished dissection of Wilson's epic meltdown, and perhaps even more importantly, the single fatal fault in her game that the WNBA establishment, for its own purposes, conveniently never told you about. So, let me ask you, after hearing all this, do you think Wilson actually deserved to be removed off Team USA? Let us know your honest thoughts down in the comments below. If you're taken aback by...
If you're taken aback by that, if you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't compute. What about all of the A'ja Wilson Nike outrage last year that subjected not only Caitlin Clark, but her fans to all kinds of...
Honestly, just try to envision this for a moment. You are without a doubt one of the greatest players in the WNBA, considered the actual face of the entire league, the kind of athlete whose name is synonymous with the sport. Now picture having your most prestigious, most coveted opportunity, the chance to represent your country on the global stage, just viciously ripped away from you. That, my friends, is exactly the devastating reality that A'ja Wilson now faces. The woman who actually believed her name was entirely synonymous with women's basketball just received a very public and presumably excruciatingly painful lesson. Your reputation, no matter how sparkling, is absolutely not a contract. Team USA's choice to not only omit her, but to pointedly include Caitlin Clark in that elite selection pool wasn't some casual statistical analysis. Oh no. It was a cold, severe, completely unforgiving evaluation. A direct assessment of which player's game actually translates to the incredibly severe high-stakes pressure cooker of global competition and the outcome. It's a fantastic, nearly cinematic example of the devastating consequences when you try to substitute genuine fundamental competence for mere display. Or, even worse, when you replace strong unifying character with disruptive self-serving anarchy.
Great pass by Chelsea Gray into A'ja Wilson.
Now, here's where we disclose the absolute biggest secret in the WNBA. The one that the old guard and a lot of the established media conveniently and perhaps purposefully chose to overlook. We're talking about the fatal fundamental weakness of A'ja Wilson's game. She doesn't just run on pure raw skill, folks. She runs on what we call special whistles. Think about it. Look at her free throw attempts. I mean, seriously, look. She averages over 12 each game. Now, on the surface, that could sound like the evidence of an unstoppable force. A player so powerful no one can contain her. But when you peel back the layers, what it actually reveals is a player who has absolutely mastered the intricate art of selling contact to officials. Every single drive to the hoop isn't just a tremendous move. It generally concludes with an exaggerated flail, a dramatic toss of the head, and practically every single defensive contest. No matter how incidental results in this theatrical dramatic request for a foul call. For years, WNBA referees have, let's be frank, been protecting offensive players like Wilson, effectively allowing her to morph into this unstoppable offensive machine, one fueled not simply by her talent, but significantly by a steady stream of positive officiating. And yes, you might argue it's a genius strategy for negotiating the WNBA's specific rulebook, a technique to maximize points. But here's the hard fact. It transforms into an utterly crippling, game-ending responsibility on the international stage.
A'ja, it looked like they really were intentional about going to Aaliyah in the second half. What was, I guess, difficult about containing her? I know you guys kind of touched on a few things, maybe with the foul calls, what made it successful for them to keep going to her tonight?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask Aaliyah that question. I honestly, you just do your work. You got to do your work early and make it different. But Aaliyah did say I have a special whistle. And she shot 13 today.
She did that.
Yeah. Yeah. She said the last game I had a special whistle, which is cool. So we just got to play their better defense, make her look a little difficult, and kind of go from there.
All right, thank you.
And here's the essential part that many people miss. Team USA coaches and scouts weren't sitting around watching her polished WNBA highlight reels, dreaming of what she could be. No, they were intently analyzing her international exhibition games, critiquing every single play. And let me tell you, what they observed completely horrified them. You see, FEA referees, those governing the international game, operate on an entirely different wavelength. They simply don't care about your WNBA MVP awards, your league accolades, or how renowned you are. They officiate a game where a significantly higher level of physical play is not just permitted but expected. The kind of contact that would take A.A. Wilson to the free throw line a dozen times in a typical Aces battle. Consistently racking up points internationally results in little more than a simple playoff. The physical dynamic and flowing style of international basketball brutally unequivocally exposes any player whose offensive game is founded on a foundation of reliance on the officials to produce their scoring opportunities. It's a brutal fact, but it's a reality that can't be ignored when you're developing an Olympic-caliber team.
Folks are talking about A'ja Wilson, the player on the team where people are abandoning like rats off a sinking ship. A'ja Wilson, who has won 2 championships in the WNBA. A'ja Wilson, who was crowned MVP before the 2024 season started. A'ja Wilson, she's a really good basketball player. But back to culture. I wouldn't want A'ja Wilson on my team, or maybe I should turn it around. Since she's A'ja Wilson, I wouldn't want to be on A'ja Wilson.
And this, my friends, is where we arrive at the very stark, undeniable contrast with Caitlin Clark, because Clark, quite honestly, operates on an entirely different level of basketball existence. Picture this. She's drawing up from 30 foot out, launching and draining shots that no referee, no matter how biased, can ever take away from her. When defenders inevitably make contact, she doesn't flail or fall. She finishes right through it, often not even registering or searching for the whistle. Her signature step-back three-pointers and those unbelievably far-range shots, they are the ultimate of totally self-reliant offense. She systematically beats defenders with an unparalleled combination of pinpoint shot selection, elite basketball IQ, and razor-sharp footwork. A skill set, let me emphasize, that translates precisely to literally any court in the globe, completely regardless of who is holding the whistle. Now, let's look at the other side of that coin. Team USA scouts with their keen professional eyes watched in disbelief as A'ja Wilson's scoring efficiency absolutely collapsed during international play when the officials allowed genuine hard defense, the kind that doesn't cater to an offensive player's every win. Her production dropped sharply, nearly off a cliff, because the precise marginal calls she had learnt to utilally rely on simply dissipated into thin air. Meanwhile, Clark's stats, they stayed rock solid, unchanging. And why is that? Because her game is painstakingly built on creating true separation with a lightning quick release point and an insane shooting range, not by initiating marginal contact, trying to draw a foul. The distinction here isn't subtle. It's screamingly evident when you observe it side by side. Wilson initiates contact, then waits, hoping, almost praying for that whistle in the accompanying free throws. Clark, on the other hand, anticipates the touch, adjusts her body midstream, and then scores through it. Wilson's meth. It's perfect. Absolutely. Specifically created for the extremely controlled, offense-friendly atmosphere of the WNBA. But Clark's way, it's perfect for everywhere since it's predicated on fundamental, unassailable competence rather than ingeniously gaming a certain rule set. International basketball demands an entirely different kind of player. It demands complete versatility. FIA games are less interrupted, substantially more physical, and officials often allow both teams to play through much more cont. What this implies is that Wilson's foul baiting skills, which are so effective domestically, convert into genuine liabilities because her entire scoring rhythm is based on constant interruptions and favorable decisions that simply never materialize. Team USA coaches urgently need players who possess the mental and physical agility to modify their approach based on the wildly various refereeing styles they will see in different countries. Wilson's constant dependence on specific WNBA officiating puts her at a giant, completely unneeded risk for the Olympics. But Clark's self-reliant, truly unguardable scoring skill that makes her a guaranteed great asset in any basketball scenario. The choice wasn't just apparent for the coaches. It was an absolute no-brainer. One player required a highly specific set of favorable conditions to succeed. The other athlete makes her own success with pure, unadulterated basketball ability. So, with all that in mind, how exactly did the former face of the league respond to being told in no uncertain terms that her country's team no longer needed her? In a single explosive word, explosively, Wilson, you see, sincerely assumed that December would be just another month of effortlessly collecting trophies and soaking in adoring adulation. Instead, she was faced with a piece of news that absolutely devastated her entire sense of entitlement. Team USA stealthily dropped their preliminary selection pool for the upcoming evaluation camps, and Wilson's name, to her utter shock, was conspicuously absent. Sources extraordinarily close to the AC's organization characterized her immediate reaction as nothing short of an enormous emotional meltdown, one that reportedly lasted for numerous agonizing days. The player, who had spent the last 2 years thinking she was untouchable, suddenly learnt she had been decisively replaced by the very person she had dedicated that same period to relentlessly trying to undermine and tear down. Clark, conversely, received her formal invitation to the senior national team pool, but Wilson was left out outright. The irony, when you truly contemplate it, is absolutely delicious. Especially when you remember Wilson spent countless petty hours on social media loudly questioning Clark's very right to exist, let alone shine in the national limelight. Wilson predictably immediately started making desperate, frantic phone calls to Team USA, demanding an explanation, a justification for her expulsion for this perceived betrayal. She reportedly churned through many contacts within USA Basketball, feverishly attempting to figure out how such an unthinkable slight could have possibly occurred. Her representatives were scurrying around like headless chickens, attempting to schedule last-minute emergency meetings with coaching staff members who, quite frankly, had already moved on, already fully committed to analyzing the players who actually made the cut. Meanwhile, Clark was receiving a stream of genuine, heartfelt congratulations notes from teammates, coaches, and legions of fans, all celebrating her well-deserved chance to represent her country. Her response,